It's set.
Awesome.
How's the have you been around or not? Oh, I'm sorry.
Maybe you guys can find us a little time.
Like Rachel Goodland.
Then my mother
All right, I just want to welcome everybody. Good morning and welcome. My name is Joey Small. If we haven't yet had the pleasure of meeting each other, though I think each of us have connected in some way or another over time, and some I've been privileged to know for a longer period of time, even as a teacher. So it's definitely a pleasure to welcome you all here to Yeshiva University, and to a really exciting new initiative here at YU, the Jewish Educator Fellowships, which collectively refers to the Give Back Fellowship and the Legacy Heritage Teacher Training Fellowship. More on that in just a moment. The fellowships are housed within a new division of the Azrieli Graduate School here at Yeshiva University, known as the Institute for University School Partnership. You'll find in your packets a description of the Institute, the one with beautiful little children on it, smiling faces, describes the work of the Institute, divided into four main pillars: the research and knowledge sharing, which are publications produced by the faculty, two of whom you're going to be working with a lot over the next 2 days, the finest. Strategic planning and performance improvement, that's really working with lay leaders and with boards, as well as heads of school to help make sure that the cost effectiveness is in place within the school. It's running efficiently. Various strategies that have been collected over time to help schools perform not perfectly, but to help improve school performance. Continuing education and professional development. That is, the Institute runs webinars all the time. Different consultants, different people, actually almost everybody, all the presenters you're going to hear from today have presented on the webinars. And those are accessible. They're about 45 minutes each. Teachers sign on. There are some programs with continuing education credits that you can accrue. And there's a variety of topics on all different sorts of subjects, things from materials for Yom HaAtzmaut, Yom HaZikaron, to mentoring new teachers and analyzing student data to help drive student performance. Everything. Different Rosh Yeshiva, different faculty, different outside experts in a variety of fields come and speak on the webinars. They're live. You can interact on them, as well as afterwards they're archived. So you can go and visit the archive on the Institute's website, yu.edu/school partnership. And then the fourth pillar is where I fit in, the educator recruitment and placement, really trying to recruit more talented people to the field to help place them in schools that will support them. And really you'll hear about this word induction, if you're not familiar with it already, working with new teachers in their first 3 years of teaching, and what we can do to make sure that they have the best experience possible so that we retain the best and brightest in the field, ultimately leading to better student outcomes and students having positive educational experiences. So educator recruitment and placement is where the fellowships are housed. The two initiatives that are there to recruit more talented people, college graduates, into the field of Jewish education. Oftentimes it's my own experience a little bit. I was a graduate of Yeshiva College in pre-med, and I decided to go back to my alma mater, back to Eula Boys High School, to take off the year before going on to medical school. It was a year where the principal said, we have a student activities coordinator position open, and I jumped at the opportunity, and it was a year that transformed my life, and definitely changed the trajectory of where I am, to bring you up to the 12th floor today to talk about a program that YU has created that really is exciting. There's a lot of attention brought to this program. Those of you who are returning mentors who have had fellows in their schools this year, I look forward to you sharing your experiences, both positive and possibly even challenging, that you've had working with the new teachers. And you're going to hear more about that, more about the different phases the new teachers may go through, more about the support that we can provide to new teachers. And ultimately, what we found is that the mentors and the people, and we value so much of what you do. You are the people on the ground who are there to support our fellows, and I say that collectively, because they should feel like they're your fellows, and ultimately we want to do whatever we can do to help support you in your work. A little bit later, I'm sure everybody has more logistical, down-to-earth questions. I hope everyone's stay came in last night. Everyone's stay was peaceful and restful. But if anyone has any questions, concerns that they would like to talk to me, I believe parking for those who ask for it, everyone's found a spot in the lot, as well as if there are any outstanding receipts or reimbursements. So at lunch, I'm going to collect some information. I'll ask everyone to fill out a card with information that I can then use to submit those reimbursements for you. We'll cover all of whatever. Hand me everything, and then we'll see what we can do for you guys in terms of making sure that you guys are all compensated. It's been thinking about and developing this program has not been a one-man effort. It's been the effort of many individuals, and two of those individuals who I really can't thank enough, and who I have not been able to learn enough from are two of the people who you're going to be working with over the next 2 days, and that's Dr. Karen Sean and Dr. Jeffrey Glanz. You have the bios in front of you. But in a nutshell, one of my favorite things we had the fellows here yesterday all day for an orientation, and they'll be here tomorrow working with you, helping establish that relationship and getting everything off to the right start. But without going into depth in their various expertise in Holocaust education and all the various things that they've published and their work with student teaching, Dr. Glanz, the director of the master's program here at Azrieli, both coming from distinguished backgrounds, I can tell you that what comes out the most, and I'm sure you're going to feel this, is really one of the, we talk about curriculum yesterday, we're talking about the enduring understandings of what we want to impart whenever we're doing a curriculum, what we want to make sure happens here. And that really is summed up in one line, and that's that you don't just go through life, you have to grow through life. And that life isn't just about going through, it's about, not just being, but becoming. And really appreciating the fact that, 3 in a row, that the biggest room in this world is the room for improvement. I'm going to stop there. They're just like, I try to complete a sentence of my own, but all these quotes just keep coming back into my head. But really the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement, and they've taught me that. They've taught me how to become a reflective practitioner. I think they're going to engender that same sort of disposition and turn it into a skill in how you can create that within your fellow to make sure that they are reflective practitioners, thinking about their work, thinking about if they're doing things most effectively. And really, it's an experience for you guys. All the research, as you'll hear from all the various presenters, it's a great experience for you. I think it should infuse a lot of new energy in your work. And I also want to acknowledge and thank. I want to thank Dara for helping us coordinate everything. I want to acknowledge the presence of Mrs. Dina Rabinovich, who is the director of a newly established Stern Legacy program for undergraduate women who decide to go into Jewish education. From the get-go, they get a full tuition scholarship to Stern College, and they commit to teaching for 3 years afterwards. So if you have any STAR students, I just realized this is a great opportunity for you to
let me know.
Yeah, to let her know, and as well as Mark Fine, who is here. He's worked in the president's office for many years and may be coming over to you to ask a few questions. He's writing some articles on the fellowship for us, so he may be asking. I also want to welcome, and we'll have more to say in later on today, but Faggy, Saffron, as well as her Shelley, who's not here, who you will meet. Faggy, it's been a big honor to get to know you, really become friends and colleagues with you. Her work with the Jewish New Teachers Project is outstanding. It's really, there's so much to learn from all the work that they do. They've dealt with, and she'll be able to tell you much better than I can. We're talking about tens of thousands of new teachers, and really gathered a lot of the data, some of which you'll receive a lot of information on. Not in the Jewish day school system yet, but they'll be able to fill you in out of UC Santa Cruz, the New Teacher Center. It was out of UC Santa Cruz, but I'm going to let her talk to you about that program. Without further ado, I hand it over to Dr. Glant, and I should be a good teacher and ask if there's any questions, but I sort of want to get started. Any questions about the program? We can review. I mean, the expectations will be laid out, as the day progresses. But anything that anyone, thoughts, concerns, questions that anyone has for me that they're willing to admit publicly, don't want to ask in private, write it on a note card and submit it anonymously. The schedule for the day is we're going to go until 4:30. After that, 6:30, there's going to be a panel, not in the SkyCap. If you may have read the email, it's changed to the building next door. It's going to be in the Rubin Shul. 6:30, you can ask any of the security guards around the Rubin Shul. There'll be a panel from teachers talking to all the fellows, as well as open to all the Azrieli students. Have the chance, various faculty will be there. It'll be a nice chance to network and to have a wonderful dinner. Carlos and Gabby's. If you've heard about it, please go ahead.
You teased us. You said that you were going pre-med and then something changed your mind, but you didn't tell us what it was.
Come tonight to the panel. All right. Dr. Glant and Dr. Sean.
So, good morning, everyone. Pleasure working with you. I think for us to get to know each other, we have the name cards. So perhaps we can go around and just say your name and the school you're affiliated with, and the position that you hold, and your role as part of this program. Okay, so I'm Jeffrey Glantz. I'm a professor here at the Azrieli Graduate School, and I'm also director of the master's program, as Joel mentioned. But I also am one of the players in helping facilitate this wonderful program sponsored by the Legacy Heritage Foundation.
My name is Tzvi Haskell. I'm a Rebbe in Basman Yeshiva High School, which is probably better known as Skokie Yeshiva.
And your role, your mentor?
I'm here to be, yes, I'm a break-in mentor.
Okay.
Rabbi Seth Jacobs from South Peninsula Hebrew Day School in Sunnyvale, California. I'm the Jewish Studies Coordinator there, middle school Rebbe, and I'll be working with a fellow.
Naomi Schrader from the Ogden Academy of Dallas. I'm a teacher, an associate principal, debate programming, and I also will be working. I'm a mentor for the new teacher.
Hi, Nava Aarons. My manager is in LA. Currently Hebrew teacher, Hebrew programming in school, mentor.
Director of the EV program. Or cover for her. I'm Razy Wilk, the program director at Monty's Academy, and I'm going to be a mentor.
Karen Sean, professor here at Azrieli, and together with Jeffrey, I co-edit the journal that most of you have gotten called PRISM. It's a journal for Holocaust educators, for high school and college students and their teachers.
Rafi Ice from Stern Hebrew High School in Philadelphia. I'm the Moody Kodesh teacher, and I've been mentoring one of the fellows, Jonathan Moses, for the past year.
Maury Grebanoff, also from the Ogden Academy of Dallas, and Judaics and calculus and various other things, and I'm also doing mentoring.
Hi, my name is Yana Brownwood, and I'm a teacher in Sharon Girls High School in Arizona, and I hope to be mentoring next year.
My name is Marty Narboni. I'm a teacher in the Torah Academy of Philadelphia. I teach 4-year-old children, and I will be mentoring the new 4-year-old teacher there. I'm Gail Copen. I'm Gail Copen from Hillel Torah in Skokie, Illinois. I teach 5th and 7th grade language arts, 8th grade social studies. I'm the 5th grade advisor, and I'm also going to be a mentor, and I had her fellow as a student.
I'm Reuven Gross. I teach at Eddie Crown Jewish Academy in Chicago, and I plan to be mentoring next year.
I'm Dina Rabinovich. As Joey said, I'm the director of the Legacy Heritage Program at Stern College.
That was quick.
I can go
on. Good morning. My name is Ari Lubitz. I am the principal of Judaic Studies at Shalhevet High School in Los Angeles.
It's a new position. And last year you served as a mentor.
Oh yes, and I was a mentor last year, and maybe next year too.
My name is Yitzchak Echelon, a Rebbe and Director of Judaic Curriculum at Eula High School. I have the distinct pleasure of mentoring a wonderful protege this past year, and I'm looking forward to continuing with him this year.
Wonderful. I want to underscore just 2 points. Rabbi Echelon mentioned the word protege. So they're fellows in this program, but in regards to the relationship that you have with them, they're proteges and you're the mentor. Literature uses various terms, mentee, which we don't think is professional enough, but so protege, because they're partners with you. You have more experience, but you learn from them as well. Another thing, what I'm happy to hear is that almost all of you are teachers, and presumably in the school in which your protege will work. And that's the model that we ideally like to adopt. There are various models in the mentor-protege relationship. Some models have the mentor who is either not in the school, they're an outside mentor, they work either in another school or they're from the university or a consultant, and they come in to work with the protege. That has some advantages, but also some disadvantages. And sometimes, in some scenarios, an administrator, a vice principal, assistant principal, a dean, a principal serves as a mentor. That is not ideal according to our model. Our model is framed on the notion that we want to build capacity and staying power, if you will, within a school. And therefore, to have an experienced, excellent teacher in a school serve as a mentor is ideal, not only for that protege, but it builds capacity and leadership and transformational change within the school itself. And that's part of the induction process, which I'll be talking about later on. So you as a mentor, as a teacher yourself, is critical. You're very critical to the success of this program. So there's a tripod. There's you, the mentor. There's the protege, who is a first, second year teacher. And then there's a supervisor, who doesn't serve as a mentor. That supervisor facilitates the relationship between you and the protege and provides the structure and the organizational framework to make sure that what you do with the protege is successful. And we have sessions with the supervisors separately as well to inform them of their achrayus, their responsibility regarding this triad, if you will, in the induction process. So I just wanted to underscore that point. Okay? Because there are various formats and models of supervisors, and ideally, a mentor should be a teacher, not a supervisor. V'shas adchak, we'll talk about it. Okay, good. Dr. Sean, my better half.
So I don't know how it got started. It seems to me that I can't remember when it was that I ever went to a group where we didn't have to have some sort of what might be called icebreaker, activity, getting to know you, I don't know. And sometimes they're difficult, and sometimes they're just to literally get you to be able to talk to one another. One of the things that's interesting is sometimes I've learned wonderful things from icebreakers that I've been involved in, and I can transfer them even into my classes. So I don't know if this one will be one of those, but icebreakers can be not just for the moment, but also something that you learn from and perhaps help your protege to then bring into his class Because when you think about the first day of school, students also are often new to one another, not always, but sometimes. And I'm sure you've been in classes where even a month into school, there are students who literally don't know the names of every student in the class, which is upsetting and I think makes the class a less warm and friendly place to be. So we want very much for people to get to know one another. That means students in your classes, and we, of course, for you to get to know one another as well. Part of the pleasure of this program is that we now have a cadre of people who did it already, who were mentors for a year, and we are meeting together with the people who are new to it. So obviously, even though you won't work in the same school, you will be in touch with one another on occasion during the year, but most importantly, we have you here today together, and so the mentors who are experienced can help serve as resources, as mentors to the mentors, in other words. So the little activity that we've designed today as an icebreaker is really designed, first of all, to help the mentors serve as mentors, but also it's to have all of you raise questions that you might have had and hadn't had a chance to raise or to get answers to. So I've listed on the board here two charts, two titles of the charts. This one says, "If only I had known." If only I had known is to be addressed to the old mentors, and what I'd like you to do on one or more of these, you can use as many as you want, we have lots of them, and this is for these are the yellows. I'm just going to pass out some yellows. And you can take a bunch, but as I said, I have lots of them. If only I had known, what would you like to have known last year that you didn't when you began this adventure? And you can write whatever you like, and then please stand up and stick it on that, if only I had known that. The other one, if you can pass these out, is what do I do if, and that's for the new mentors, but also the returning mentors, in case you still have a question and you really would like an answer. Perhaps it wasn't answered last year and you'd like an answer today, and these are the green. After you do that and you stick the yellow sticky and the green sticky on the chart, then I'd like people to circulate and take down the sticky, one sticky that you think you can answer. So if it says, what would I do if, or what do I do if, and you have an answer to it, just take it down. You don't have to write anything, just be prepared to share it. And you don't have to sign your name necessarily unless you want the person to answer you directly. It could be a general question, what do I do if what happens? And the same thing with this, if only I had known. If you see something that speaks to you as a new mentor and you understand that this will be helpful to you, then feel free to take it down, and again, you can discuss it in a few minutes with the person who wrote it. And we'd like, of course, at the end, some volunteers to share. And one of the things that we talked a great deal about yesterday with our fellows is this question of why do we say we'd like you to share? Why don't we say, okay, Rabbi, you're doing it, you're doing it, you're doing it, and you're doing it. Why is it that in classes we have certain teachers who do that, and there's a whole new philosophy called cold calling. I don't know if you've heard of that. The idea taken from the medical model and the law model that when interns are on rounds, the doctor who's in charge doesn't say, let's see, who'd like to share what she thinks this disease is? We don't do that. We say, raise it. What is it? What does she have? What do you think? Here are the symptoms. What do you think? And you can't really say, I'm sorry, I didn't do my homework last night. Because if you do, there's going to be a problem. And yet, that's what we do in school. Or do we? That's another question. And should we? And if we do it, why? So these are the kinds of questions that we talk about with our fellows. And ideally, you and the fellow, the mentor, the protege, will be on the same page with regard to that. Or even if you're not, because you agree to disagree, because it's a different style, you each understand the style of the other. So if you have a teacher who wants to do cold calling and she explains it and justifies it as a research-based understanding of why she's doing it and does it appropriately for the right subject matter, even if you're not comfortable with it, you would be able to understand why she's doing it. So one of the things that we like mentors to do is to ask first rather than say, I wasn't comfortable with what you were doing, but why were you doing what you're doing? I'm sure you know this, but just the kinds of things that we were talking about yesterday. Tomorrow, of course, is the day that you'll be with your protege, so there'll be that kind of interaction. But I'm just giving you a little bit of the background of what some of the conversation was yesterday. So please, if only I had known, and what do I do if?
There's nothing.
No, I know.
The new one's only like, what do I do?
Yes, what do I do if? But the experienced mentors also can do what do I do if?
What
Yes.
do I do
If
has to do with
the new
the protege
Yes.
situation or the classroom situation?
Oh no, the proteges. What do you do? This is regarding your protege. What do I do if my protege
Has some issue.
has exactly.
But it also could be.
Yes. Oh, if you have a
it could
classroom
be,
issue, of
what
course.
if I do if the supervisor doesn't release me
Oh.
to observe my protege?
Oh. Well,
Which
yes.
may
Exactly. What do I do if?
Right?
And Naomi, if only I had known. If only I had known.
That's the yellow, that's the green?
Yes.
I definitely yeah. Both you guys? You look at different LA, you have different vocals. I know, you guys are positive, doing something. Might be too charged here. Go for it. I bet you see that line. Sorry. That was a good idea. That's a little bit shorter one.
Okay, just another minute or so. We have a lot more. What do I do if?
You know what? I've heard your name, but I didn't know you mean it. Pleasure.
Small world without saying.
Good stuff.
pull one off too, right?
And pull one off, yes, if you can answer it. Right.
It's not my writing.
Here's my experience. I really like to know your feedback.
I'm sorry. When I'm looking at the name, I just know this name for some reason. I mean, text me to tell me when it's back. I'm like, sorry. So nice.
Capture this a little bit.
Oh.